Namaste, I am GVN Dr. ANUPAMA Goyal. I am working in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University Jaipur as Associate Professor in Botany. Today, students, I will deliver my video lecture on nostoc, which is a blue-green algae, and on the occurrence of cyanobacteria. Well, under cyanobacteria, many blue-green algae are included like nostoc, oscillatoria, cytonema. And now I start. I am Dr. Anupama Goyal, working as Associate Professor in Botany in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University Jaipur. First of all, I talk about the systematic position of the algae nostoc. Well, the kingdom is Prokaryota. Nostoc algae has been placed in kingdom Prokaryota. Division is Cyanophyta, class is Cyanophyceae, order is Nostrocales, and the family is Nostrocaceae, and the genus we are talking about is nostoc. Then I talk about the occurrence of the blue-green algae nostoc. So, nostoc is a common freshwater or terrestrial algae occurring abundantly in the rice fields. The terrestrial species of nostoc grow commonly on moist soils mixed with many small plants such as mosses, liverworts, lichens. Some species of nostoc are found on moist rocks in hills. The freshwater species are found freely floating in pools, ponds, ditches, and other similar temporary or permanent water reservoirs. So, nostoc is terrestrial as well as it occurs in fresh water, and it is found on moist rocks also. The plants are found in the form of ball-like colonies of pinhead size, but sometimes the colony may be as large as 30 centimeter in diameter. Some species of nostoc are endophytic and they occur in symbiotic association within other plants. For example, nostoc punctiforme. Nostoc punctiforme, it occurs endophytically within the thallus of anthoceros. So the students, the question is, name the blue-green algae which is found to be symbiotically associated with the anthoceros thallus. So you will write nostoc punctiforme. And then nostoc is also found in coralloid roots of cycas and in roots of jamia. The species of nostoc such as nostoc sphericum, and nostoc colema are the common phycobiont of lichens. In India, about 26 species of nostoc are found. For example, nostoc calicole, nostoc endophyllum, nostoc ellipsoporum, nostoc ellipsoporum, nostoc muscorum, and nostoc punctiforme. Now I talk about the structure of the colony of nostoc. Innumerable chains of bead-like cells, trichomes of varying lengths, are intricately entangled in a copious gelatinous matrix to form a colony. So each trichome is enclosed by its own mucilaginous sheet and is called a filament. So what is the filament? When the trichome in nostoc is enclosed or surrounded by a mucilaginous sheet, it is called a filament. The numerous filaments in the colony are held together by a soft mucilaginous envelope formed by the fusion of the individual trichome sheets and also secreted copiously by the component cells. Each colony appears like a bluish, green, or yellowish mass of jelly. Young colonies are small and microscopic. The mature ones are large. Enclosure of several colonies of nostoc growing in the neighborhood within a common gelatinous mass results in the formation of a macroscopic mucilaginous lump or thallus. It may be called a compound colony. Now I talk about the structure of the trichome. Well, the trichomes are contorted, moniliform and intertwined. Each trichome is composed of numerous rounded or oval cells. The cells are joined loosely from end to end into a trichome resembling a string of beads. At frequent intervals along the trichome are found colorless, empty-looking, spherical or barrel-shaped cells called the heterocysts. They are slightly large and have thicker walls than the vegetative cells and are intercalary, sometimes terminal, for example in nostoc linkea. So one of the peculiar characteristic of the algae nostoc that in the trichome of the nostoc heterocysts are also found which help in the fixation of nitrogen, and they occur singly, sometimes in series. Each intercalary heterocyst when first formed has two polar pores. Through these pores cytoplasmic connections are maintained with the adjacent vegetative cells. Under certain conditions, vegetative cells here and there in the trichome may become greatly enlarged, stored with food materials, and greatly thickened to become resting bodies called the akinets. Each trichome with its individual sheet is called the filament. So students, here we see the trichome of nostoc. In this diagram, you see when the trichome is surrounded by a mucilaginous sheet, it is called a filament. So here you can see in this diagram shows a nostoc, a single filament of the algae nostoc. And as I discussed, as you see in the diagram, heterocysts are also found in the trichome of nostoc, and these heterocysts, they help in the fixation of nitrogen. And these heterocysts are intercalary in position, and now there are many numerous vegetative cells in the trichome. And now I talk about the cell structure in the alga nostoc. Well, nostoc possesses a typical prokaryotic cell organization. It has a definite cell wall surrounding the protoplast. The protoplast is divided into outer pigmented cytoplasmic region called the chromoplasm and the inner colorless centroplasm. So students, in nostoc, when we study the structure of the cell in nostoc, we find the protoplast is differentiated into outer region which is called as the chromoplasm and the inner colorless region which is known as centroplasm. The chromoplasm contains pigments and proteinaceous cyphophycean granules. The centroplasm contains incipient nucleus. The photosynthetic pigments chlorophyll A, carotene, xanthophyll and bilirubins are present on scattered thylakoids. Now I talk about reproduction in nostoc. Well, nostoc reproduces by vegetative methods like fragmentation, hormogonia, and echinid formation. Well, now I say sexual reproduction is absent in volvox. Now I talk about the fragmentation. So, by mechanical, physiological, or other means, the colony of nostoc breaks into two or more fragments, each of which is capable to develop into a new colony of nostoc. Now, nostoc also reproduces vegetatively by hormogonia. So, the trichome breaks into small segments due to the degeneration of the intercalary vegetative cells or due to the presence of intercalary heterocyst. Multicellular fragments formed are called as hormogonia. They come out of the gelatinous sheet of the colony, grow rapidly, and form new colonies. Now, see, this diagram shows the reproduction by hormogonia in nostoc. So, look at the A diagram. Here, these are the formation of the heterocyst and the gelatinous matrix and new colonies there, and reproduction takes place by the formation of hormogonia. Now I see you reproduction, vegetative reproduction in nostoc also occurs by the formation of echinids. Now, under unfavorable conditions, any cell or some of the vegetative cells of the trichome become enlarged and each secretes a thick, highly resistant wall around it. They get gorged with the reserve food materials. Such specially modified cells are called the echinids. Or students, the echinids are also called as the rastering spores. These are well adapted to survive unfavorable conditions such as water shortage and unsuitable temperature. With the return of favorable season, each echinid germinates to form a new filament of nostoc, and now nostoc also reproduces vegetatively by heterocyst. In nostoc communae, the heterocyst becomes functional and it germinates to form a new trichome. While germinating, the contents of the heterocyst divide into two and then into four-celled germling. This breaks the outer wall, and this breaks the outer wall, comes out, and it forms a new filament. Now, see, in this diagram, you can see the heterocyst, means this diagram shows that vegetative reproduction occurs in nostoc by means of heterocyst. So here is the heterocyst. It has the two polar nodules, and then this heterocyst is dividing transversely to form two-celled. This is a two-cell stage in the B diagram, and ultimately here again it divides to form the four-celled germling. So this is the four-celled germling, and now the wall gets ruptured and it forms a new filament as you see in the diagram. And now I talk about the endospores, Brand and Spread in 1911 reported that the contents of the heterocyst in nostoc communae, nostoc microscopicum, divide to produce endospores. The endospores on liberation give rise to new filaments, and now this diagram shows the life cycle of nostoc. Well, you see, the nostoc reproduces vegetatively by fragmentation and hormogonia. So, nostoc reproduces vegetatively, vegetative reproduction by hormogonia and fragmentation, and it also reproduces by endospore, heterosis and akinase. So now I tell you the economic importance of the algae nostoc. Nostoc are important for their nitrogen fixing ability. They are used in paddy fields and are also used to increase the nutrient value of the soil. They are rich in proteins and vitamin C and are also used as a delicacy in various Asian countries, for example, Nostoc flagelliforme and Nostoc commune. Well, third economic importance, Nostoc muscorum has shown to accumulate polyhydroxybutyrate, which is a precursor of plastic. It may have useful application in the industry. Now, cyanobacteria can convert carbon monoxide to biofuels, and Nostoc have shown to produce hydrogen. They can be used for bioremediation of wastewater and degrade environmental pollutants. Last, various species of Nostoc like Nostoc muscorum, Nostoc commune, Nostoc insulare extracts have shown antibacterial or antiviral activity and may be used in future to prepare the drugs. So thank you. In the next time, during the next lecture, we will again continue with the cyanobacteria. Thank you so much.